But if the Marechaussee Phantom decided to look into the flower beds, it would have been the end. Yelena's ties to the Fatui, the role of the delusion, everything would have been exposed. Before we could even put our plan in motion, Yelena beat us to it. She burned all her flower beds and threw herself into the fire as well.
But if her goal was to destroy evidence, there would have been no reason to do that to herself.
Yeah, she could have just burned the flower beds and fled with her brother.
I thought about it for a long time, but it wasn't until just now that I finally understood her reasoning. Everything she did, it was for her brother, Kyria. One of the reasons they defected from the Fatui was the deterioration of Yelena's body due to her excessive use of a delusion. She didn't want her brother to follow in her footsteps after her death. After arriving in Fontaine, Yelena continued using the delusion to cultivate the Auguste flower, weakening her body even further. There were times when she couldn't even walk.
That's why you shouldn't use delusion, kids.
So, she couldn't flee with her brother because she was afraid of holding him back.
If her true identity was exposed, she and her brother would face pressure from both Snezhnaya and Fontaine. The Auguste flower and Yelena's own corroded body both bore the mark of a delusion. There would have been no way to avoid suspicion. So, in the end, she burnt it all to ash, including herself. With all the evidence erased, Kyria was free to take the Mora and run.
So the wealth you earned from Auguste, it wasn't destroyed in the fire. Yelena gave it to her brother?
Most likely. Before Yelena died, she said if anything happened to her, she was going to leave everything to her brother. We just didn't realize she meant our cut as well. That's why Lucien and I were searching for Kyria, to take back our Mora and the Auguste flower. We just didn't realize Kyria was baiting us the whole time. It was all a trap.
A very good trap.
But why is Kyria out for revenge anyway? Doesn't he know about Yelena's decision to sacrifice herself?
I don't think he knew his sister was nearing death. Yelena always wore heavy makeup around him to conceal her deteriorating appearance. She kept herself busy with work to keep out of sight. That way her brother wouldn't notice how she could barely walk.
Then all we'll need to do is tell Kyria what really happened, and then he'll give up on his revenge.
I'm not so sure. Even if he knew the truth, he'd still find someone to blame. He might think Yelena was forced into using a delusion to cultivate Auguste, or something like that. It's hard to pull yourself out of that kind of hatred, especially when you've been living in that headspace for so many years.
Very true. Even if Yelena's death was her own choice, I wouldn't call myself innocent either.
Edgar, what are you talking about?
Think about it, Sylvain. If we hadn't been in such a hurry to capitalize on the perfume mania all those years ago, do you think Yelena would have elected to take those risks? If we hadn't been so blinded by greed, so insistent on increasing the scale of the flower cultivation, do you think Yelena's health would have deteriorated as fast as it did? If we hadn't invited the Marechaussee Phantom to our doorstep by breaking the law at every turn, Yelena could have survived.
She knew her limits. She knew her days were numbered. Maybe it was for her brother, but she was in it for the Mora just as much as us. We were just trying to earn a bit of Mora. And what, we deserve to die for that? Target me for being the mastermind, sure. But what about Lucien? He was just following my orders. Lucien's crime, was it really so extreme that he had to pay for it with his life?
The only person that can answer that question is a judge.
Well, if it's a judge you need, welcome to Fontaine. Okay, welcome to the Mécanique de l'Élite Court. Nah, I forgot the whole. What was the name of the what was the I totally forgot the thing. I haven't said it in so long. I forgot.
Fine. I've said my piece anyway. Drag me back to Fontaine to stand trial. I don't care.
3 people from Fontaine, 1 from Snezhnaya, and a crime committed in Port Ormos. What a headache.
What's going to happen?
Well, we can only wait until the Academia sends someone to deal with it. I'm guessing we'll have to contact Fontaine as well. In any case, we won't really know anything until tomorrow.
Oh, great. It's time to travel through time again.
With the exhibition, we don't even have space in Port Ormos to detain anyone. Such a headache.
The hotel could suffice. You could station a few officers to keep an eye on Sylvain and myself. Although with Sylvain's mental state and my physical one, I don't think you need to worry about a jailbreak.
Mr. Edgar, are you saying...
If Sylvain is to stand trial, then I deserve the same fate. A crime is a crime, accomplice or not. I'd just like to take care of a few things before I go. Say goodbye to my plants and all that.
No.
As for Sylvain, I'm sure he also has some goodbyes of his own.
Brother really took responsibility for it. Alright.
Would you be willing to grant that request, Sheriff?
Well, all right. I'll talk to the Academia. No matter who you were in Fontaine or what crimes you committed. The man we grew to know in Sumeru proved himself to be a good person. Your request is granted.
You have my thanks, Sheriff.
But if we wait until tomorrow, doesn't that mean something could still happen tonight?
Happen tonight? Oh, you mean the possibility that Kiria might try to finish what he started?
Yo?
Yeah, all we know is that he uses a goose to poison people, but we still have no idea how to catch him in the act. If he targets Sylvain or Edgar again, we might not be able to stop him.
That may be true, but what if we can take advantage of his desperation?
Desperation?
If we take advantage of this situation and lure him in on purpose, we might finally have the chance to talk to him.
Master, no. That's too dangerous.
So, that's your plan. If Kiria learns we're being taken away tomorrow, his last chance to enact his revenge would be tonight. In other words, you want to use us as bait to capture him.
Capture? Not necessarily. I just want to talk. What? Are you afraid of him?
Afraid? This is my only chance to make him pay for what he did. I'm spending the rest of my life in prison anyway. I can't just sit back and let him ride off into the sunset with our fortune. There's no way I'm letting him get away with it. Not after what he did to Lucian. As for the danger, everyone else just needs to make preparations in advance.
I guess everyone's like, I don't know, and no one's deserved to die for the things they just did, you know, but they're all kind of equally, I guess, guilty, you know, not exactly, but you know, a
I'll
little
admit,
bit.
it could work. We just need to spread the word that Edgar and Sylvain are leaving tomorrow. Then I'll station some of my men around the hotel. If we have your assistance as well, our chance of success would be even higher.
I still have some reservations, but if you insist on carrying out this plan, I won't deny you my help.
We can help stand guard.
I'll also keep watch.
Although I think Sylvain and myself should remain alone in our respective rooms. If Kyria noticed another person in the room, he might decide to turn back. And besides, it's possible he's already transformed Auguste into a potent toxic gas.
Gee, I mean, through the air is the most like dangerous thing ever. Like it's gonna be really hard to protect yourself against that, something that's in the air, you know. So without him even getting into the room, but they closed every window and everything though. Yeah, there still must be somewhere where like the the air can come in through where it's like making them just bleh.
You mean if he doesn't see a way to get his hands on the two of you, he might get so desperate that he'll just start using a goose on everybody?
I mean the gas as well. I mean, it's gonna affect more like the sheriff, for example, but it's not really gonna affect Paimon as well. I don't know. Paimon doesn't have an I don't know. I'm not sure about Paimon honestly, but it's not gonna affect us as much though.
If that were to happen,
Like
everyone's
EMILIE and
standing
Collei and
guard.
stuff like that. But
Even the innocent citizens in Port Ormos would all be in danger.
I mean, Sylvain and
That's
Edgar is
why
gonna get
everyone
affected,
else
sheriff
needs
as well.
to
But
keep to the shadows.
oh,
You're still recovering. You need to rest.
This old bag of bones doesn't bounce back like it used to. I suppose I'll just have to leave the rest to you.
All right, we can figure out a plan to keep watch later. Right now, I say we split up, start spreading that information before it's too late.
the sheriff is Killian, 100%. It's him. It's him, guys. I can see it. With everyone help, they knew about August as well as Edgar and Cillian's impending departure begin to spread.
Have you heard? Mr. Edgar's been detained. He's being taken away tomorrow.
What? He's the one who helped craft all the fragrances for our
Oh.
shop.
I accidentally pressed my mute mic instead of just continue what they say.
He taught my child how to make perfume. How could this happen?
He hasn't been convicted yet. Let's just wait and see what the court has to say.
Everyone on the street is talking about the rumors. No matter where Kyrie is hiding, he must have heard them by now. Let's head back to the hotel and take a break. We can see how the other preparations are going while we're at it.
Alright then. Do we go up here or do we... And I'll soon be recording for 2 hours.
Emily! Sheriff Xian wants to talk to you and the Traveler about our plans for the Night Watch.
Thank you, Kale. But first, here, I prepared a kind of herbal tea that helps calm the spirit. Why don't you have some?
Oh, that's very kind of you, but I'm okay.
Oh, it's not good to be so tense, especially when we've got a long night ahead of us. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I couldn't help but notice that something seems to be on your mind.
Was it that obvious?
You seem very preoccupied with Kyria's revenge. If there's anything you want to talk about, I'm happy to listen.
Oh,
Hey, Emily, Kale. Oh, are we interrupting something?
No, not at all. This will be easier to talk through with you here anyway.
About what?
I've just been thinking. If Kyria has the capacity to commit murder while remaining completely undetected, why didn't he target Sylvain along with Lucien last night?
I mean, no, I think, I mean, what I thought was just that, oh yeah, he just wanted to make him feel the same way that he did when, Yelena died.
There was just a single door separating them. If his intention was to target both brothers, then there was barely anything standing in his way. Don't you think? When I accompanied Sylvain to his room after Lucien died, and saw how distraught he was, I suddenly realized. Maybe Kyria did that on purpose. Maybe he wanted Sylvain to experience the pain of losing a loved one before he completed his ultimate revenge.
Big brain.
So did he attack Edgar as a warning then? To scare Sylvain and Lucien?
Based on what we've heard about Kyria, that may very well be the case.
Losing his sister all those years ago. What has been going through his head? What has he been forced to endure? Whenever I get to thinking like that, I just can't help but wonder. If I were in his place, would I be able to let go of that hatred?
Yeah, that's hard. When it comes to that, I mean, you can say whatever you want when you're sitting, you know, just chilling, nothing is happening, life is good, whatever, right? If something like that would happen, what would you honestly think you would do? I mean, would you seek for revenge? Most people would probably do that, right?
I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't think like that. Not after everything he's done. But I just can't help it.
Yes, fair.
There's nothing wrong with the way you're feeling. Empathy is a part of human nature. In all my years of cleaning up crime scenes, I've witnessed countless families mourn their loved ones. Their cries of devastation and anger still echo through my mind, even now. Some of them even try to stop me, begging me not to erase the last remnants of their loved ones. But getting swept up in those emotions will corrupt your judgment. Surround yourself with fragrance for too long, and your sense of smell will become dull. Allow yourself to be consumed by your emotions, and you lose the ability to think rationally. So while you hold on to that sense of empathy, you also need to ask yourself, do Sylvain and Lucien really deserve to die? how much did they truly know about the Fatui and the delusion? Did they force Yelena to make those decisions? Answering those questions requires a lot of time and evidence, while a single act of vengeance can put those answers forever out of our reach. I've witnessed a lot of deaths in Fontaine. When someone dies, a certain amount of information can be inferred from the traces left behind at the scene. But generally speaking, death will just leave most questions unanswered, and the whole picture ever incomplete.
Once you're consumed by hatred, it will become next to impossible to think about things that way. For someone like Kiria, I'm sure right and wrong lost all meaning a long time ago.
You're right. The fact that we can approach these questions from this perspective isn't because we're more rational than them. It's because we're fortunate enough not to have suffered that kind of loss.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that's I mean that's what I mean. Like, it's hard to say something what you would do when you're not in that position yourself. It's so much easier. Oh, I wouldn't do that. Oh, I wouldn't do that. Then when something like that comes around, you be like, oh damn, I want revenge, you know?
But that also makes us perfectly positioned to stand on the outside and try to pull them back from the brink before it's too late. I understand Kiria's decision, but I still want to stop him. Master, Sylvain, and Kiria. They all deserve to survive.
Huh. The fortunate and the unfortunate.
I mean, we can't be the judge of who... oh, that's really hard when I have other opinions on stuff, but I mean, I feel like... never mind. I'm not gonna go into anything and try to talk about it, because I feel like it's just gonna take much longer time from these videos, and I can't really afford to, you know, miss any of this timing. I need to try to finish these.
Emilie, Traveler. Huh? Edgar, you're here too?
Oh, it's you two. Didn't you head back to your room to rest, Edgar? Is it really okay for you to be out and about like this?
A little exercise never hurt anyone. Besides, I don't have much time left in Sumeru, so I'd like to take care of my plants while I still can.
We could do that for you, Master.
No need. I've grown attached to these flowers, and this is my last chance to.
I wanted to try to take care of a plant too. To be honest,
tomorrow.
Like a flower. Like
I'll
try to
be
take care of
happy
flowers.
to entrust their care
And see if you can make it bloom or not. Maybe you just suck ass and you can't make it like bloom at all. You forget like to like water it or something.
I would imagine Sheriff Sham is here for a more
Seems very much like you, to be honest with you.
a reason.
I mean, I wouldn't forget to take care of something that's important to me though.
The Night Watch!
That's
You
why I
mentioned
say.
earlier that we still need to confirm our plans.
That's right.
That's for real.
I've
Yeah.
stationed some of my men around the surrounding area, but we still don't have anyone standing guard next to Sylvain's room. Exactly. After some discussion, we concluded that Sylvain has the highest risk of being attacked next. You're the most skilled fighter here, Traveler.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll protect the room then.
And Emilie's expertise is sure to come in handy in a pinch. That's why I want you two stationed next to Sylvain's room. So, are you up for it?
Sure. Fine with me. What about you, Emilie?
Sounds perfectly reasonable. I'll be glad to have your help tonight, Traveler.
Thank you. Same. We got each other's back. We got each other's back. Down here? Or... oh no, it's in here. I forgot already. I swear to God.